we've been wearing masks all the time. I don't think we need to wear it anymore right now, but just to show this is what we've been doing all year. Let me go get this. Let me go get this straight real quick. Well, fellas, we are here, man. This is another episode of Shooting with Shooters, the visual version. It's a lot that has happened this year in 2020, and we want to start sharing our experiences, from the whole year. And one thing that's been big this year is COVID. And COVID, definitely as Dayo's Masters showed us, an election year. So hopefully all this has some change happening. Shout out to the last president that we acknowledged. Shout out to change.
It's been a year of struggle, birth, new birth, renewal, change, energy waves. Like it's been a lot going on. And, in the midst of this, we've had some extraordinary moments amongst ourselves that, I can't wait for us to share with each other. But mostly it's where we are now. Obviously, this is the visuals that we've been talking about for years. And I'm really glad to be here with you, brothers. And let's go.
Hey, let's get it.
What is a shooter? Does it refer to guns, sports, or photography? Mm-hmm. It implies hitting a target with exact precision. There's so many other references to shooting than guns. And in our case, photographers are shooters.
And because we love taking shots, whether for work, family, or friends, we also know what a privilege it is to have a photographer for a friend or family member.
You always have an opportunity to get amazing photos in addition to someone you can sharpen your tools with. The phrase has double meaning. You can take pictures with another photographer or shoot the breeze and kick it with a creative friend.
So hang out with us for an hour or so as we share our experiences, cool projects, opinions, and celebrate our favorite photographers. You're Not Shooting with Bryon Summers,
Dayo Kosoko,
James Anthony,
and this is Shooting with Shooters. You belong to the night. He's a man of the night. Yo, real quick, y'all, I gotta let y'all know about the sweatshirt I'm wearing. Shout out to the friend of the community, the homie Alexander Ja, at Alexander Ja. He got this dope sweater line, sweet t-shirt line. Do you know that in in the UK they call this like a tumbler?
A tumbler?
Yeah, a
like
sweatshirt.
I think I heard that before, referred to as a tumbler.
Yeah, I got to get the right phrase. I might be wrong. UK, don't destroy me. But the line is called a J and a water. I don't know what it means. I don't understand it. It's green. But, I really like it. It's a J and a water. I really like it, man. Shout out to Alexander Ja.
I got half the ingredients right here. So
hey.
No, that's dope. And it's definitely season. Look, I guess it's hoodie season, crew neck season, because we all looking cozy right now, all safe at home. Shout out to Dreamville and shout out to Felton. Hooked me up with this dope hoodie, Revenge of the Dreamers 3. This dream was sweet. I had a chance to pick this up when I stopped by the shop the other day. So shout out to Felton again.
The face mask, Michelob Ultra.
Oh, my bad. Hey, look, man, we got several friends on the show. You know what I mean? We got people that we want to recognize and let them know we're here. Shout out to Michelob Ultra.
Indeed. James, what's on your shirt?
Yeah.
Plain hoodie. I don't want to shout him out because nobody's paying. All right.
I haven't seen you guys in a while, and face to face, since we did our last project together. But for this show to have transitioned from a audio podcast about visuals to what it should have been, all those years ago.
We didn't have the technology, man.
Hey, look, or the know-how, but it all definitely caught up. It's been a crazy learning experience. Streaming is definitely a learning curve, but we are here, and I like the way we look.
The pandemic actually is it's been a gift and a curse for a lot of creators. Everyone was forced into this digital landscape. We were like, yo, if everyone else is doing these video chats and podcasts, we're visual content creators. Why can't
Facts, bro.
Kudos to you, Bryon, for
Let's clap it up for Bryon real quick, man. If y'all don't know, Bryon is a mastermind. Got everybody right. He trained us up. We went through intense training, and now we're ready for anything, man. So shout out to my guy, Bryon.
We us all being members of fraternities, we can all
say what?
We can all
y'all in fraps or stuff?
we can all attest to lifting as we climb. So when I'm learning something, I'm gonna reach out and say, hey, Dayo, James, do you guys know about Discord? Do you guys know about Twitch? Are you guys streaming? What's going on? I see everybody using IG Live all the time, but bottom line, you're not gonna get paid off IG Live unless it's a bag straight from that brand that's co-branding or asking you to use your IG Live.
Right.
On other streaming platforms like Twitch and YouTube, you can utilize that stuff, and I haven't been paying attention to that. So it's just a learning curve for what I've naturally been doing. I guess this goes to a lot of people. I am a photographer, like all of us in here, but I might specialize in something else. Producing might be my thing. James, you might lean more towards acting, and you even shoot more of that as well. Dayo, you are an awesome host. Shout out to the Michelob Mask. We can talk more about that in a little bit.
Yeah,
all of these things spill over into our other talents. So and COVID and social distancing and being in this different space has definitely forced us to become more or something else.
To become more. I like that. I like that phrase because there was a little show, and let's not use little, we always try to stay away from that. There was a show called We're Getting Better that specifically talks about how as creatives, we're consistently trying to get better in whatever we're working on, whatever we do, our craft, etc. I think it's so dope that we do this because we're literally, James, and we've talked about this, Bryon, you and I as well, we're literally cataloging our careers. We're cataloging our creative careers. From the time I first interviewed with Bryon, I talked about this. There's some things in the interview I talked about doing that have now been checked off the checklist. And we all have talked amongst each other. I mean, how many years has it been now, fellas? 3?
At least 4.
At least 3 to 4? And it's a testament to stay in the path, because we could have easily let life tell us yo, we're doing this and this now. James is shooting everybody under the sun. Dayo, you over here doing this. Bryon is working 10 different hustles, selling shirts, plant man, et cetera, et cetera. We could have been like, yo, the podcast is cool, but let's leave it to the young boys. No, sir. This is shooting with shooters, and people, we still have something to say.
We tried to end it. and James, you were there. You were there when I was like, oh, I got the perfect excuse. We're having a baby. Dayo's like, we are too.
Crazy.
That was crazy. Because if I wasn't, I think Bryon would have just.
I'd have finessed the out of this thing.
Yo.
But yeah, I'm definitely glad we didn't stop, the show, no matter what has happened. But again, it's all been a learning curve, and we've tested our hand in streaming before as well. But again, we're here.
Struggle bus.
But again, it was all a learning curve. So
yeah,
the same way I would reach out to James, to ask about how are you, editing this photo to look so polished. I would assume people might ask me, how to set up a, streaming platform or whatnot. Even though I'm not an expert yet, I am getting better though.
Hey. Well, I think you're pretty damn good, man. And I think one thing people don't realize is we're in 3 different parts of the country, man. James Anthony in L.A., Los Angeles, California. We got our guy Bryon Summers in Newark, New Jersey. So we also call him the New York brother. And I'm in Washington, D.C. But let me keep it real. I'm in Prince George's County, Maryland. And I got to rep PG County because that's where my studio is. It's where I was raised. It's where I met these brothers at one high school named Eleanor Roosevelt. Shout out to Greenbelt, Maryland. And so it's pretty cool that we're able to have these different creative experiences in different parts of the country and also come together. I mean, we got Hollywood, James. We got New York, creative epicenter of the world. And then we got DC, the political and chocolate, the most chocolatey area out of the bunch. So it's a beautiful thing, man. It's a beautiful thing.
Hey, Newark is definitely a rich chocolate city as well. One thing that I was going to mention was we all have either participated in, shot on, or been around a Black Lives Matter mural. There's one literally on my street, maybe like 4 blocks down on Halsey Street. It's a Black Lives Matter mural in Newark. And 2 blocks up the street, there's a abolish. What does it say? It says end racism or abolish white supremacy. Abolish white supremacy, and that's on MLK. Right in front of a future MLK building. But you know about MLK, anyone that's MLK is going straight to the hood. But yeah, James, you shared stories with me about, protesting in LA. Dayo, you shared stories with me about protesting in DC. I actually had a chance to come down with the Dad Gang and capture some awesome shots of Sean and the guys out in front of the White House. So I just wanted to talk to you guys about that experience that we've had this year. What has that been like for each of you?
So, James, if you don't mind, I'm gonna go ahead. Dude, 2020's been crazy, man. And I use that word a lot because I feel like there's a lot happening in my life and in the world it's kind of difficult to conceive. So, to understand it, you'd have to be mad. You'd have to be crazy because stuff is wild. And I can start by saying, guys, right after my birthday in March, my birthday is March 8th, that was the week everything started shutting down, and starting with the NBA, really. And there was a true realization that, whoa, this thing that some people were talking about is actually kind of real. The NBA, I said, they talking about canceling a couple games? I was like, this is nuts. The ball started rolling. And it really has started a trend of really showing what our country is, who's in our country, and what this place we're in is really about. And the transparency it's being afforded to everybody is a blessing and a curse, especially being Black men in America. So, that's a whole different thing. But in April, my brothers, all my stuff was stolen. I know you guys remember. All my photography gear was stolen in Washington, D.C., out of my car, broad daylight. And, that was the start of my 2020, trying to figure out how I'm going to feed my family because now, granted, I went to school, I have my master's degree, but when you're doing something you love, do you just start to defer the dream because of a mishap? No, you persevere and go and push through. It's along those same times that, brothers started being killed. Ahmaud Arbery in Georgia, running. That started some energy of, man, what's going on? We're always getting killed. And then George Floyd happened. And, George Floyd his name is going to ring bells like everyone else, but it's almost like an Emmett Till.
Oh, for sure. Definitely Emmett Till.
It's like okay, we just saw this man get killed. Okay, it wasn't another man. Oh, it was a police. Oh, it's the system. It's the police that killed us. And, the trend has, it obviously came to a head, and we've seen some of the most active to this day, which is what makes me happy is that we've seen the most active participation from people all over the globe, walks of life, financial backgrounds, cultural backgrounds, and races, standing up and saying, we're tired of this too. We got friends that are dealing with this. We got homies, we got uncles, we got aunties. And with that energy has come the protest that you speak about, Bryon. So I had to preface that with my own personal experience because, as a father, with the intensity of the protest, I wasn't going to go out to the protest initially. I wasn't because, it's like anything could happen. They're literally killing us anywhere. Do I want to be on a shirt for going out, stopping or speaking up against something that I'm not happy about? And this is not by design, but I was wearing this shirt today. This is James Scurlock, y'all. James Scurlock is the young man that was protesting in Omaha, Nebraska, in front of a store downtown in the old market of Omaha, Nebraska, and the store owner, scared that his place would be vandalized, like he's heard about in other parts of the country, shot and fired this 22-year-old boy that was just protesting. I got to give kudos to my brother Abiola Kosoko for speaking up and speaking out in one of the most red, states in the United States. And, that's the times we're in. But I didn't want to go out because I didn't want to be a brother on a shirt, my guy. But it was the third day of the protest in D.C. My boy Duke Dubois hit me up and said, Dayo, we're going to the protest. Let's go. And in my head, I'm like, dang, Duke Dubois is not even American, man. Like, he was not born here. He was, he was born in Africa and was raised in France. But he's like, this black thing, I've experienced this too in France. I got to do something. I got to be out here. Let's go. So that was the day I went to the Black Lives Matter Plaza, got great images. I went out there probably 5 or 7 times afterwards to protest and let my voice be heard. But like you said, Bryon, we don't protest the same as everyone else. We protest visually. We're capturing the moment, the times. We're capturing the time that shows our children this was happening in 2020, kids. Daddy was trying to raise you while the world was literally being set on fire. So it's we're still fighting, guys. We're all doing it. We're all doing our part. And, one of my highlights was meeting the individual who's now a friend of mine, the man who designed the first Black Lives Matter Plaza in Washington, D.C., Robert Young, amazing artist.
The biggest correlation I would have to say between Emmett Till situation and the George Floyd incident is that you had a visual aid behind which ignited the fight, the fury. Emmett's mom, shout out to her for being so brave and courageous to want to force the visual of Emmett Till's body upon America.
Yeah.
And that's what it sparked in the outrage, being the fact that we had a novice candid shooter videotape George Floyd's incident, and we were all forced to watch that. It was a really tough time trying to act as if I didn't see it. I was so affected. I found myself in tears randomly throughout the day, just thinking about what, that veil pulled over from your head, like, yo, this is really the climate that we're in, where a police officer can feel like he can do that without any ramifications. So I really think for me, the first time I got word that there was going to be a protest. I ran out there with my camera, so for me, it was a lot more visceral as well, because, living downtown Los Angeles, you can hear the crowds go by on a basis. So me being a documentarian, it fueled me to go out there just because I was moved emotionally. I was moved professionally to want to document this. And I was also moved intrinsically because I felt like I wanted to do something to stand up for him to speak out. So, Dayo, I remember, I'm posting on social media, and I was like, had you been out there? You're like, no, not yet. But then you also got to think about the reality of our current situations. We're in the midst of a pandemic, fighting, a racial pandemic that has been going on for centuries.
Ooh.
You have to take that in consideration. Like, yo, these two men, my two brothers here, they're fathers. So you also have to be conscientious of going out there into a pandemic, which is, based off of the information and knowledge that was given to us, people are contagious. So you can't be out there putting yourself out there on the line, not necessarily, and coming back home to your wife and your children and putting them at risk. So I completely understand the hesitation that you had initially for, not wanting to be another T-shirt, but there was also a really important reason, which is not trying to affect your family. So I totally understand what you were saying when you said you hadn't been out there, but from my POV, I had to be out there. Hearing these protests, you could hear the megaphone echoes in the distance. So it was something where I felt like I had to run out there and film that. And I remember the night after the first riots, and I'll call them riots because that's what happened down here. The looting, went downtown on my bike, just started shooting all the chaos and the mayhem left over from the night before. Broken windows, storefronts. I put together a video to a video compilation, all that I had seen that next morning. And it looked like I was watching the news. So that's when I really felt like a documentarian, being out there capturing that. It looked like a bomb had hit. Everywhere. It looked like a war-torn country. And I think that's when I really found the importance of taking the photos I was taking. I thought about Gordon Parks. I thought about documentarians in our past. And I'm like, I need to be out here throughout this. So I was extremely motivated emotionally, like I said, on multiple levels. I felt like I had to be out there.
This is crazy because as you're talking about you hearing the megaphones outside the window, I had a similar experience. I had a similar experience, and I'm sitting there thinking, like, damn, this is really a case of the streets calling you.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Streets is calling.
The streets literally calling.
Sometimes, and I'm like, I'm not going out there today. And I hear the echo. I'm like, babe, I'll be right back.
Wow.
I felt like a superhero, for real. Yeah. Grab my camera, grab my bike. Snap. I felt like Nightcrawler.
Wow.
Ooh, yeah.
Wow.
Good reference. Good reference.
So in my situation, I was out on the balcony right here, and City Hall is like a block this way, and MLK is like the block that way. So I'm in the middle of it. I'm like right in the valley of like north, like downtown north. So I'm hearing echoes coming off of like the buildings around me. I don't know which way it actually is. So I'm looking out the window and I see like a scarce parade of people that kind of broken up, like it's the end of the line. But again, I hopped on the bike. It was a nice day, like weather-wise. I just hopped on the bike and I was like, I'm gonna just ride, and if I get too close to people, I can just get up out of there. So like I'm thinking about the COVID, like, all right, but I was still reluctant, like, all right, people found a block and they were marching back and forth up and down the block, and I'm thinking, I wanna capture this, but this is also like one of my first times like capturing like a protest. I'm thinking about what's the actual etiquette. How do I get in here without taking it, without disrespecting the situation?
Yeah.
Whereas a seasoned protest photographer or a photographer that might capture that kind of situation, they used to just, all right, I'm just getting here. Basically be water and be in here and just capture the moment, because that is our form of protest. We are the storytellers, the griots, the ones that are going to say, look, remember that time back in 2020 y'all was fucking up? Don't do that again in 2040.
You know what, man? Let's be real. There's a lot of people haven't made it past, that aren't going to make it past 2020. The year is almost over, and many of us have lost friends, family, uncles, aunties, grandparents, celebrities. R.I.P. Chadwick Boseman, and R.I.P. Kobe Bryant. I mean, R.I.P. to anybody that we've lost. To be real,
R.I.P. to 2020.
Woof, deep, bro. But I give kudos once again to you guys, like people who have encouraged me. We continuously encourage each other, and somehow, some way, we've thrived through the adversity of 2020. We've used our creative outlets to enhance and create and to do more, safe in a time where things are difficult and tough. pushing through content, taking advantage of opportunities that have now been presented to us because the light has come on in several people's heads. And I thank God for that.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I mean, I feel like within the time of darkness, like life is full of balance. You know, when there's darkness, when there's really bad going on, there's also really good going on somewhere else. So I feel like, again, it was a troubling time for a lot of Americans, a lot of people across the world. But in the same breath, a lot of people were able to thrive in a sense where they were able to find themselves, reconnect with family, because build strong relationships, or sometimes cathartic where you realize, yo, this ain't for me, and you've been able to clear some that way.
Clear some relationships.
Yeah.
I know about 5 couples that didn't make it through this pandemic. So
sheesh.
It's one of those things where it's been kind of a gift and a curse. And sometimes when those trial and tribulations come your way, you got to look at the silver lining. And like you said, Dayo, we've had a lot of productive and creative things going on with this. And yeah, man, I want to hear about some of that stuff, you know, because we've been able to continue to create. So it's like, what have we been up to that has been keeping us active, and you know, what have we created? So we should share that. Let's talk about that.
I ain't done nothing. I've been straight bullshitting. No. If someone tells you that, then it's time to reevaluate some things.
Dayo, you actually reminded me that March was the last time that we really hung out before the pandemic actually hit. Pisces. A Pisces season. If you guys are already familiar with the show, you know, Dayo and I share a birthday weekend. James, you know, is April 1st. So it's like, you know, it's going to be March, but April Fools. But we still
the April Fools in here. The April Fool.
Is that?
I haven't heard that one before, Dayo.
I mean, you got Pisces. Was that Aries for you, James?
Aries.
Yeah, so, you know, we're right there. But all that to say, right around that time where it normally would be March Madness for basketball, it actually got March Madness for all sports. But the NBA was the first to shut down, right?
Yeah, NBA, your boy Gorbet, the 7-foot dude out of Utah. He was messing around, touching everybody's mics. He was like, you know, laughing about COVID. He was the first brother who contracted COVID in the NBA.
Rudy Gobert had to be like the most like disliked.
Oh, they trolled him. It was
basketball
nuts.
Player.
It was nuts, man. But he bounced back. You know, it is what it is. Or did he?
I mean, the Jazz didn't, but he's a great player though. So
he got bounced out.
It goes into what? Hiatus, all sports stop. And then once the NBA comes back, Dayo, this opportunity you get presented with.
Yo, you know what, man? It's really interesting, guys. And I get this from, honestly, I get this from you and Bryon, because, you know, I always tell Bryon, you know, sometimes I got to get on him because I'm like, bruh, like your skill set is not just limited to photography. You're an illustrator. You're a designer. You know how to put together books. Now you have a green thumb. Now you build. You're a creator. I talked to James. You know, you're an actor. You're a comedian. You're a model. You're a fitness guy. You're a beard guy. You know what I mean? You shoot great stuff too. And you know, my whole life I've always said that, you know, I just want to get paid for what I love to do and what I'm good at. And, you know, photography is a great and amazing thing. But even before photography, I was just being me. I love talking to people. I love things like this. I love communicating. And I was afforded an opportunity. Shout out to
cheers.
Shout out to Michelob Ultra because, you know, I signed on to being an ambassador for Michelob Ultra. I thought I liked what they were doing. I liked that it was a light beer for active people who live an active lifestyle. I'm still hooping, getting buckets, giving people the J, dunking on cats. And I'm 37, you know what I mean? So I'm giving that energy. And when it became this opportunity, working with Michelob Ultra, they afforded me an opportunity to really create. And, I got a call, Dayo, FYI, we've loved what you've been doing. Shout out to my boy John if he watches this. Yo, we love what you've been doing. We love what's going on. We wanted to invite you to watch this virtual experience. Now, granted, much love to the NBA and the NBA bubble. These guys figured out how to continue sports in the safest way possible. And that was to tell everybody to go to one place and we're going to quarantine y'all and y'all are going to hoop, which is nuts. I think, James, what were they down there for? Like 3 months, 80 days or something like that?
Makes everybody straight.
Crazy. Without your family, without anything. So, I got a chance to participate in what they call the virtual experience, the virtual fan experience. Much love to Microsoft, too. Apparently, a lot of people in the corporate world use Microsoft Teams. And the technology they have gave fans an opportunity to watch the game virtually with other people watching it at the same time and feel like you're seated at an arena watching a game where you're able to interact virtually, fake high fives, do a wave. I had people doing the wave in there. Anyway, the opportunity was after I experienced it, they said, yo, Dayo, we really love the way you were interacting with everybody. We love the energy that you brought to this space. Would you want to host a game? What? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, then they told me the numbers. I said, here I am again. You know what I mean? I'm here for that. It's a match made in heaven. And, I love to talk about my craft. I love to talk about people connecting. These are all the things that I love. I love people to connect. I try to call myself a Lego. Click, click, click. Here I am. Y'all click up. Oh, my man does this. You do that. Y'all need to meet. I'll just walk away because if I can be a bridge to greatness, I'd love to do that. And this was that opportunity. And it's been continuing. We're going to do more stuff with the NBA. Really excited to have somebody that's like on my side. And, as someone who was working with Michelob Ultra in that moment, I was supposed to give like content every month. When the whole stuff started happening with the protest, George Floyd, everything like that, I got an email that said, Dayo, we can't understand what you're going through, but we understand that something is happening. Take time. You don't need to worry about no posting. You don't need to worry about none of that stuff. Take a mental, whatever you need, let us know. And I told him, I said, I need you guys to step up to the plate. I said, this is an opportunity to really show where you can be effective. And, they put the money where their mouth was and donated $20,000 in my name to a nonprofit organization.
That's amazing.
In the fight for equality. And that spoke volumes to me, fellas.
That whole experience that you just described, that's the epitome of what shooting with shooters is.
Yeah.
Person behind the camera, because a lot of times you see the work but you don't really know about the photography.
Yeah.
And you're like, dude, you got a big ass personality. You're more than just a photographer. You're a good spokesperson. You're a good ambassador. Clearly,
Thank you, bro.
So again, this is the epitome of what the show is about: shooting with shooters.
Yeah, and ice on the cake is that it was basketball. So,
bruh,
shooting again.
Bruh, I took the deal without knowing about the NBA. They said NBA, I was like this. Hey, what, dude? So being in the virtual space was really amazing. I got a chance to host and interview some of the most iconic basketball players of all time. I mean, talking to Scottie Pippen, B.J. Armstrong, Dikembe Mutombo, Dominique Wilkins, Peyton Manning, Dirk Nowitzki, Sean Marion, Caron Butler, Ron Harper, Chauncey Billups. And this is coming quickly to my mind because this was life-changing. I have these guys' basketball cards in my tucked away in my storage area. And I was able to just talk to these guys like, yo, what's up, Big Shot? Yo, Robert Horry, what's up? And it's shown me that I'm not scared of the moment. I'm ready for this. And there's more to come. So, shout out to Michelob Ultra. Shout out to you guys for constantly encouraging me. Shout out for more content that I'm going to be able to create with them. And you're right. This is the epitome of shooting with shooters. What else is going on with that shooter? What else do they do?
So that's definitely an opportunity that is specific to this year, that bubble experience. Another bubble experience or quarantine type of experience is a lot of us that work from home or work remotely are kind of used to being at home, or, a lot of us even have photo studios at our, in our home. We might be sitting in it right now. And because of that, it might be easier to maneuver. I'm assuming. James, let me know if that was your case when you were shooting everybody for these past awards.
That's a good segue. Yeah. Now, to touch base on what you just said about Dayo, his situation was specific to us being in a pandemic. And Bryon, I would have to say one of the most recent career highlights for me was just being able to create a moment of magic with one of the GOATs, Regina King, Miss Regina King.
With her fine self.
Yeah, she amazing soul spirit. We were able to create with the idea that her styling team, shout outs to Wayman and Micah, a dope styling team out here in Los Angeles. They're her stylists. And for the Emmys, they came to me with the idea saying they would like to create an experience on the red carpet. Because it's not the traditional red carpet, we think you'd be the perfect person to kind of collaborate with. So yeah, I turned my living space into my wife's and I living space into a studio for the day. We were able to film. I was able to shoot on my roof, and next thing you know, she has an interview on Red Carpet.
I mean, I love this. Who did this video for you?
A wonderful artist named James Anthony collaborated with my stylist, Wayman and Micah. And we just felt like, this night wasn't going to happen the way it normally happens. And how can we still get involved and still have some excitement around it?
And interviewing her, she shouts me out. She shows the word.
Hey.
It's posted across the world. Literally, I've had newscast DM me and asking for rights to use it on their broadcast for the evening. So the overall experience, she was a dream to work with. It was my first time working in a professional capacity with Wayman and Micah, so dope styling team. So again, another example of the pandemic kind of creating an opportunity that may not have otherwise presented itself. And then probably about 2.5 weeks before that, I was fortunate enough to land another career highlight shooting the promotional images for Usher Raymond's Vegas residency. So that
make me want to leave the one I'm with, start a new relationship, just what you do. Come on, James.
So even in that moment, just on set, I have this weird thing where in my head, no matter who I'm shooting, I start to sing their songs in my head all day. I'm literally like bopping in my head, just thinking about Usher tunes. I'm like, stop, chill out. But in that moment, I'm like, yo, I grew up on this dude. This is a cool moment right here. And I've been around people that I grew up entertaining or entertained by, but I always have those moments where I'm like, yo, this is still a pinch me moment. Like a hobby brought me to this moment right here. Mm-hmm. So when you think of Usher's residency, you'll always see my work attached. And for me, I'm just like, yo, this is crazy. Some career highlights. It makes me really appreciate the move out here. Again, the pandemic has been dark for a lot of people, but you definitely have to take a moment to really acknowledge and embrace the blessings that it's brought to us. So yeah, man, it's been cool. An aspect of it has been cool.
Indeed. And I would say, the blessing feels even greater right now because of the constraints of people's livelihoods and whatnot.
Right.
When the year started going this way, photography for me felt like it was drying up. So that forced me to put on the producer hat or go to different talent as far as like my illustrations and design and whatnot. And most recently, this year, we're all talking about projects. The biggest thing that's happened for me this year, and I hesitate because I'm like, I don't want to overspeak. Like it hasn't been anything else great, but one thing that's a highlight that I've been able to share at least this year, is the Union Market murals, and we've talked about it. And if you haven't checked that episode yet, check out the Union Market mural episodes, interviewing everyone that was a part of it. It was 5 photographers, including myself. And I didn't get a chance to realize this until afterwards, but it was a curation project for me. I actually had a chance to reach out to other photographers, whether they be my circle or not. I was curating for a particular project. Union Market DC. Shout out to Ali Mom and Jody at Eden's, and they reached out this year because of a art festival prior to COVID, and then COVID happened and the art festival shut down. But they still wanted to program around that time and utilize the outdoor space. I had a chance to display murals at Union Market 4 years ago for the We Love You project. Again, unfortunately, the climate was similar to now, where social justice, injustice actually happening, and it being a I'm trying to find a new word besides tipping point, because I heard that's tied to slavery. I want to try a different. Yeah, I think randomly, I think it ties to like the amount of whatever you had to pick for the day. But I got to do more research on that. But either way, we got to a boiling point 4 years ago, and We Love You project happened because of trying to find a solution to protest. But
like through the strike that we experienced, again, just like the Harlem Renaissance, that's where we exude the most creativity.
Exactly.
These things there you go, representing the shirt We Love You. I always get, when I wear that shirt in the airport, I always get people saying, "I love you too." And I love the fact that you created those moments, those brief moments that to the people that wear them.
I will agree, man. Bryon, to be real, I think as a friend personally, you were one of the first people I got the call from you, Dayo. I got an idea. I want to digitally protest, and I didn't really see a lot of people using their platform in a project that was as consistent and emphatic as the We Love You project. You literally told me something. You said, this project is to change the way we are viewed by showing this is just who we are. It was so radical in my mind because I even found myself starting to view certain pictures of us and already start to assume X, Y, Z. And that's from being in this society where you have to now take a step back and saying, what am I doing?
Right.
That could be my brother. That could be my cousin. What are we talking about? You cannot look at somebody and assume anything. So, man, kudos, man. You've always been going against the grain and changing narratives, man. And you definitely inspired me with a lot of stuff that I've been doing too.
I appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. And, again, I'm glad that we were able to team up, and, I was able to pull from some of my favorite projects that you guys have worked on, whether it be Moon Melanin or, a James Shoots and Draws project. So definitely shout out to, the Moon Melanin pieces in the back. Dayo, I see you up there.
Yeah. I got some of my favorites, man. Brandy on the side, and we got Mel on the ground.
Hey. So yeah, so now, having that chance, for after Ali and Jody reached out about this particular project, it was another opportunity to, take advantage of the situation. We all want to show work all the time. Instagram is cool, but it might not be here tomorrow. But you always have, well, I'm not saying always have, right now we have brick and mortars. We have buildings that might be vacant, it might not be, but it's also a potential space for an art show. That's what I see when I look at a building, no matter where it is. I'm like, how can I display some work on the side of this place? Whether it be a billboard or an image to, help change or, encourage a certain behavior in a neighborhood. So, again, all in all, we've done a lot. 2020 has thrown us a curveball, but, what do you do when somebody pitches a ball your way? Swing for the fences.
Yeah,
Jackie Robinson, baby.
Just actually touch base on something. Shooting with shooters. We're visual people. We're photographers. We're shooters in that sense. guys, I want to implore you to check out the show called C on Apple TV. Check it out.
Yeah.
Yes.
What's so intriguing to me about that show, this is just a side tangent, but if you take away the sense of sight, a lot of trauma stops right then and there. You know, like if I can't tell you're black or I can't tell you're white, or you take away the ability to see your own self, you take away a lot of the bullying on social media, you take away a lot of the pollution because we can't fly planes anymore, we can't see where we're going. You know what I'm saying? Like the earth kind of restores itself if you took away the sense of sight. So
that's deep.
We're given the gift of vision, and because of that, we're able to experience and see so many beautiful things about life. We're able to create so much beautiful art because we can see. But if you took away that sense, you would end a lot of the pain and suffering that we cause upon ourselves. You know, it's all about, I want the bigger plane, I want the faster plane. Yeah, that creates more pollution. You know, it's all about, I want to look this way, I want to look that way. That incites depression. You know, so it's one of those things where, yeah, the gift, the amount of amazingness it can provide, it offers, again, with balance, it offers that much detriment. So
there's definitely a responsibility, James. Like the power of the camera is too much right now. It's really intense. You know, we can hop on the gram and see something that could literally just change our mood, even if it's something positive. Like it's like, oh, okay, I'm happy for him, and that ain't happening for me. You know what I mean? Like it can really just hit you. So you gotta stay grounded, man.
Yeah. Now, I would say you just made me think about this, James. The amount of pandemic movies and shows that have been, surfacing that have been made before 2020, and then others that happen like now is definitely crazy. And I know we talk about how art imitates life, or life imitates art. Yeah, at a certain point, if you obviously life came first and then art, but after a while, we're just going to mimic it. So don't be surprised when you see the COVID pandemic film that happened in 2018.
Bruh, there's a dude that already dropped a documentary joint, that was COVID based, black guy. Sorry, homie, I would have shouted you out. I don't remember the name, but people are creating now. Stuff is happening now. Like there's so much happening now. It's amazing. I love it. Keep it up, everybody. All ages. Just go for it.
All ages. Everybody's welcome. Oh man. Yeah. So, man. So there it's bittersweet highlights that have happened this year. Whether or not you're a Laker fan, you gotta admit,
crazy. It's crazy out here.
Oh yeah, you out there, James. I'm tripping. Did you go down there?
I was working, but
it's all good.
Hey, man.
Yeah, the king got another ring, man. The king got another ring.
And this, honestly, it's the best thing that I can see so far that's happened in 2020.
Well,
that's terrible, probably, but I don't know. To think about it like this, like somebody took your license and then you're driving again, and not only are you driving it, but you're driving to prom. So they took the NBA, they gave it back, and then Bryon won it. Like you said, the king got a ring. And again, hopefully we see some more changes in the coming weeks for the better.
I got a little update for you guys. I mean, you guys already know, but I might as well update the people. I had a studio at 52 O Street in DC. We relocated to Capitol Heights, Maryland. And I say that because you guys understand Prince George's County and the need for a creative hub. And, it's called The Dojo. Create, collaborate, and connect. Shout out to my business partner, Jeremy Ives and Thaddeus Pryor. So, we out here, man, trying to create the spot where we didn't have when we were young. I mean, imagine if, by taking a simple intro course or something in photography in high school, that now became, oh, okay, there's a place where I can practice my skills. Oh, at that same place, I just met a guy who's been in the industry for 20 years. I want to do what he does. I want to mentor. I want to be his mentee. So, I just thank God for that opportunity, for being a Black-owned business, still thriving during COVID. And I thank you guys for your support as well.
Kudos to you, man. Yeah, that's when people succeed the most, where they feel where the void is. And you saw there was a need for a space, and you created that. So the people that have come through there, they're all affected. They're always going to remember you for that. So, yeah, kudos.
Shooting with Shooters is always the inspo for creative community to me. I feel like off Jump Street, separating the art and the person, saying, who is that person that created it? I need to meet, it's always been influential in my life. Like, Shooting with Shooters is the catalyst. So that's props to you, B.
Hey, I appreciate that. And I know that I always have a place to go to shoot whenever I come to come back home.
Home or your second home?
Back home. When I come back to my first home.
Oh, all right.
Crib. So yeah, guys, man, this definitely feels good for episode 1. I'm glad to be back. I'm glad that we got our learning on over this summer. I guess we went to summer school and got our stuff together. So now we're streaming. Let's keep it going. We will be adding more to the visual aspect of it all. One thing I love about this is that we get to show our photos, and we got tons of video on our phones or whatever that just otherwise might see the cutting room floor. So
content.
So now we have a place to put it, and we're definitely looking forward to sharing it with everyone here, all of our shooters. If you were following and subscribing on any other platform, now we have another one. We're on YouTube. Obviously, you're watching right now. We're on YouTube, and check us out. Subscribe, hit that thumbs up, comment. If you have any questions, definitely interact. We want to interact and make this thing more of a community. We want to foster the Shooter and Shooters community. And I know we have that hub at the dojo. We got more people from the original community, moving to LA. Shout out to Josh.
Shout out to Josh Peters. My man said, I'll never live in California.
Josh is out there, West.
Out here.
I'm gonna send him this clip. Yeah, that's hilarious. He's less than a block away from me, but it's amazing to go outside and have some of your East Coast family right here.
East Coast family.
I was Jinx. Da 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 da. Yo, you know what year that song came out with? Guess, guys. Hurry up.
93.
No, James is gone. James, guess. Oh, he's back. James, guess.
What year did it come out?
Guess. Hurry up. Go.
The East Coast family, what was that?
Motown Philly, back again. Go ahead. What year?
91.
Wow. James is right.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 91, bro. We can literally remember when that dropped. So that's much love to the viewers. Now you understand who you're dealing with. Definitely comment, man. We're trying to hear what you guys think of the new look. What you guys want to hear about, what you guys are interested in. We've always been connected with the community, and we want that to continue with the visual show as well.
Yeah, shout out to everyone that's as an original member of the group me. We will be adding more ways to interact with us and to get your questions answered and read even on the show. That will be done in Discord. We'll drop a link and get that community popping. So until next episode, guys, it's been fun. I'm Bryon Summers, at Bryon Summers on every platform. It's right here.
And I'm Dayo Kosoko, a.k.a. The Art Hype, Mr. Hype, on all platforms, including the Moolah. Pay up.
And I am James Anthony right here on all platforms, including Cash App.
Woo!